Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rebecca and Rebecca. I'm Rebecca Reed, and this is my partner in book discussion, Rebecca Yager. Hi, Rebecca.
Hey Rebecca, how you doing? How are the holidays treating you so far?
Well, it's not quite time. I have time yet to do things.
What are
So,
you, a last minute girl?
well, somewhat. I don't know. I don't tend to wrap things early. Like I buy things, but
Ah,
I don't always wrap them.
right,
So but
right.
my like all my people aren't right here, so like sometimes I don't wrap them at all. Sometimes I just send them in the mail.
Keep it easy, right? Actually, I have
Yeah.
my husband do the wrapping, or I find a gift bag because I'm a terrible
Yeah.
wrapper.
Yeah,
So,
that works.
but anyway, well, for being for the middle of the holidays, we're not necessarily doing a holiday book this year, but a cute one.
No, but it's romance. I mean, doesn't romance work for any month of the year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Hallmark wouldn't be so popular this time of year if it didn't work, right? So,
That is true. That is true. And it's a rom-com, so you've got the jolly part, right? I mean, doesn't that fits with Christmas? So, it'll be fine. So yeah, we're here to today to talk about Dineen Miller's "Bloom to be Messy," which is the first book in a series called "Messy Love on Mango Lane," which I like the name of that. And it is a romantic comedy, but we'll have some discussion about that as well. So, would you like to read the blurb for us so we know what we're getting into?
yeah, we're getting into. She almost had it all. When she's forced to return home, will she find all the love she's ever wanted? I was this close to making my dreams come true, hightailing it out of small town Florida for the Big Apple. I went to art school and was in the running for the perfect job when the aunt who raised me died. Good news, she left me everything she had. Bad news, that includes her flower shop, which I have to run successfully for a year before I'm allowed to sell it. So now I'm back where I don't want to be, trying to fix up a business that seems to be better at providing shelter for raccoons and cockroaches than making money. And that's when he shows up. Cade Maverick, the guy who bullied me in high school, owner of the sparkling green eyes I've never been able to ignore. He's changed somehow. It's not just that he's got a scar on his face from a motorcycle accident. He's vulnerable. He has a 4-year-old niece he's caring for, and he's willing to do anything to help me fix up the store. As business starts to bloom, we're getting close. Too close. Everything feels perfect. But I'm going back to New York City when my year is up, and he's not just part of those plans, right? Bloom to be Messy is a delightful first book in the Messy on Mango Lane series. If you like heroines in head over, can I try that again? If you like heroines in over their heads, broody, scarred men, and discovering you can go home again, then you'll adore Dineen Miller's Happily Ever After hijinks. So that's where we
That's a lot that's a lot right there. So that was in our main character's point of view, that little blurb, and our main character's name is Amanda Wild with an E.
are. Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to forget that E. And a lot of people in high school, most people called her Mandy. So we're gonna probably refer to her as both Mandy and Amanda, I imagine. Um, there's a lot of stories surrounding all of that, which if you
Mm-hmm.
read the book, you'll know because we don't give away spoilers.
We try not to.
Try not to, yeah. So, um, so what do you think of Amanda when you first meet her?
Amanda, I guess what I liked overall about both characters, Kate and Amanda, is there's some depth to them. This is a romantic comedy, as we've talked about, but both these characters are almost running from the past, or letting the past affect so much of their present. And so Amanda, especially returning to her hometown, which I think she kind of ran from.
Mhm.
Her mother has quite the reputation in town, and this is the Amanda Mandy situation, which is developed more fully in the book. So she is still trying to find her own place in the world, and she thinks she's got it all planned, and she thinks she's got to, do this, and she can't be in Sarabella is the name of the town, Sarabella, Florida. And she can't be in Sarabella. She belongs in New York City and has a dream job. So she's a reluctant, she's a good niece. She's reluctant to be there, but she obviously really loved her Aunt Paula and really wants to do right by her. And she's got some spunk. She
Yeah.
I like that about her a lot, that she's spunky and strong and determined.
I think what I liked about her the most is that, while she's developing ideas to kind of bring this flower shop back to life, because it's kind of been neglected. Aunt Paula's health had been declining, and she wasn't able to do the things she really wanted to with the shop. And so it just kind of was falling into disrepair slowly little by little, I guess. And Amanda's like, what am I going to do? And Aunt Sally, or not Aunt Sally, but Aunt Paula's best friend Sally, who Amanda grew up with her as well. She kind of gets the ball rolling for Amanda, but once she gets the ideas going, everything that Amanda does, it isn't just like good for her shop. It also pulls in all these entrepreneurs that are in this area, because it's kind of an artsy area. There's a lot of tourism. And so there's a lot of little craft shops and like small businesses who operate in this area. And she pulls in a lot of these other craftsmen and craftswomen, and really elevates, like, as it's kind of that idea that, you raise the ship. One person like goes up, it brings everybody up, I guess, is that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of what I liked about it, was that, while she did benefit, so did all these other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it is a true kind of small town pulling together story. And like we've seen in some other books that you and I have liked, that we've read, the town is almost another character in itself. The people in the town, they're quirky and they're fun and they're helpful. And Sally, like you said, just kind of motivates her, gives her a little shove, but it really is Amanda that has the ideas and that really goes forth once she has that little push. So it makes the whole
Yeah.
town kind of come to life.
And you can tell that she's been trained. I mean, she did go to college for art, and she knows what people like. She has a knack for kind of finding like ways to add value to something, because that's kind of what it starts out with, one little object, and then they find a way to like make that, because the person who crafted the thing to begin with didn't know what to do with them. She just thought they were cool.
Right.
And Amanda's the one that's like, well, what about this? We could turn it into this. And then that added another person in the mix, and he had to help. And then, there was just, by the time they got done, there were 3 people that were benefiting out of one thing, not to mention the people who were buying the product and got joy out of it there too. So, yeah, it was really neat to see that. And I like those kind of stories. I think we both do. We like when to see people come together and work together for a cause and to help, not only themselves, but others as well. And we mentioned, the Cade, who is the hero, and Amanda just thought he was the biggest bully in high school. And a lot of it had to do with the nickname that he gave her. Which she did not like at all. And to me, it was kind of like, at first I was like, why did she not like it? I didn't get it, because to me it was kind of generic. It just called her root beer,
Root
and
beer.
she just thought that was weird or something. I don't know. And I think maybe it was to do that other people had been bullying her too, and she just lumped him right in with everybody else. But anyway, she didn't like him. They didn't get along. They weren't in the same group. And then here he is, kind of back. She comes back and he's right there. And so that just doesn't help her mood when she figures out what's going on, trying to find everything. And but then he turned out to be quite the he himself is an entrepreneur, has his
Yeah.
own business, is an artist with
Yes.
metal. He works metal. And so that turned out to be really a nice juxtaposition there, that she had to kind of re-evaluate him. And I think it's that, if you grew up in a small town, or if you've ever been around a small like school or any kind of small organization, and it's a long-term thing, it's like once you get a label, it's really hard to break out of that mold.
Mhm.
Even if you change, it's hard for people who knew you back then to be like, oh, you're still like this, and you're like, no, I'm not. But they can't let go of that. And I
Right.
think that's partly what we see in this book, is that whole idea of, once you give somebody a label, how do you reevaluate that and then change your opinion? And that's what Amanda struggles with throughout the majority of this book. And she kind of, it's like one of those a step forward and two steps backward kind of
Mhm.
stories.
Yeah, it is. Well, they're both, Cade Maverick and Amanda are both struggling with identity because, like you said, he was a little bit of a troublemaker in high school, and he didn't necessarily bully Amanda, but he did cause his fair share of problems and stuff. And now he is grown up, and he is a very good artist. The metal arts, I think that's the tough side of him, but yet he can create so much beauty out of that metal, and how he and Amanda end up working together just on the artistic side is kind of fun. But he is fighting a lot of stuff in his past, and like I said, the characters, yes, it's a rom-com and it's light, but there's some depth here, and there's some serious issues that they're both facing, and they're both trying to overcome. And throughout the story, Cade ends up as kind of a caretaker for his 4-year-old niece, who brings, of course, you put a cute little girl in the story, it's gonna lighten up everything, and she's almost the voice of wisdom sometimes. The
That's
mouse
what's
and
funny
baby.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she does. She'll come up with some things. She'll ask questions and she'll see what's going on. And even when they're trying to ignore what's going on, she'll just come right out. You know how kids are. They don't have a filter. And she doesn't have a filter at all. And she just says the coolest things, and it makes them realize what they're ignoring a lot of
Exactly.
times.
Exactly. Well, and she brings out the softer side of Cade, and of course Amanda starts to see that softer side, how good he is with her and how caring he is with her. And it doesn't gel, this image of him with Ileana as his niece. It doesn't gel with the image that Amanda had of him from high school.
Yeah.
So they have to do a lot of reevaluating and rethinking and looking at the present and not just the past.
hmm And
Mm.
of course, the future is involved as well, because both of them are trying to figure that out. And um, Amanda has her sights set on New York City still. She has a roommate, Sasha, who's her best friend who lives there. And she has a job that her boss has promised she'll still have no matter how long it takes. And her dream, is really to make it big in New York City. So that's there. And, she has to really kind of, that struggles continues through the whole story. You don't really, um, that doesn't get resolved until the very end,
Mm-hmm.
really.
But there's a lot of
And
push pull through the story
yes,
with
and
that.
Cade too, because he has a business, yes, but he's still trying to get it off the ground. And so there's a lot of struggle for him just to prove that his work is quality and that he can produce enough to satisfy a demand or whatever. And so he's been working to get his name out there. And then he's kind of all of a sudden with Eliana, as you mentioned, and he doesn't know what to do. with her, really, and how she's supposed to fit into his life. And that really does change him a lot. I mean, it makes him realize that he's more than just a metal worker, that there's more to life than just being an artist and a metal worker. So Eliana plays a pretty pivotal role in the story.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, she does. And the way he cares about her. You mentioned briefly Amanda's roommate in New York, Sasha. And what I liked about Sasha, in fact, I think she's an interesting enough character that she could have her own story, but she's really blunt, realistic, keeps Amanda on the straight and narrow, but she's also very smart. And she, even through FaceTime, can kind of see what's happening down there in Florida. But I liked her because she really was the, hey, didn't make any bones about anything. So
yeah, and she's biased in a way because she wants Amanda to come back, but she's also intelligent enough to recognize what's going on, with Amanda, and to call her on it, because Amanda tries to deny it many times, and Sasha's just like, I'm sure I can just see her with the eyebrow, and the whole, like, I don't know, like, look. It's like, yeah, that. So I don't know.
So yeah. But anyway, it's good. So again, there's a whole interesting cast of characters here that to me aren't cookie cutter, which sometimes rom-coms can be. I don't see it as much here. As said, even Cade, our handsome hero with the piercing green eyes, has this interesting backstory and what he's wrestling with throughout the book.
Yeah.
And the way that Mandy and Cade bring out the best of each other and are going to help each other and see each other in a different way that they're both longing to be seen, that they can't see themselves as.
Yeah. And I really appreciate, I guess, the fact that Cade is not pushy, like he knows what he wants, or at least he figures out what he wants, I guess. But he's willing to give on his side to get it. Like, a lot of times it seems like one person is the only one giving, and he's not like that at all. He's very willing to do his part to make things end up the way he wants them. He's willing to change his own circumstances in order to get the outcome that he desires. So I thought that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
How that was worked into the story. And it was a lot of wrestling, I think, with the idea of choosing your own destiny versus having somebody foist something on you.
Mm-hmm.
As a theme. And I really like the way Dineen worked that in, and how it all kind of materialized and came about.
That's interesting that you say that. Yeah, she really did do a good job, and these characters are wrestling with, this is foisted on me, so am I going to walk away? Am I going to ignore it? Am I going to embrace it with gusto? Which is what Mandy had to do with the flower shop. Is, okay, for Aunt Paula's sake, I'm here. Guess I'll embrace it. I'm broke. Gotta hang here, And
but also, like, how many disasters and setbacks can I handle, before I give it up? Because that's life, right? I mean, we have a goal. We it's like, okay, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's this thing hitting you here and this thing hitting you here, and it's like, okay, now what am I gonna do? Like,
Right.
I feel like I had a goal and I knew what I wanted, and now all these things have happened. So, like, is this really even my goal anymore? Should I have this goal? And that's really what Mandy has to deal with, is, how many times can she drag herself up, off of the floor, because it seems like she's down on the floor many times, sometimes for rather hilarious reasons, and others not so much,
Right. Right.
so
But in the end, she almost wrestles with two good choices too,
true.
between a
Yeah.
job in New
And
York
that's true. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that can be life too, where you're wrestling with there's not necessarily a bad choice. So where do you belong, and where's your faith going to be, and are you hearing where God wants you to be, or are you hearing yourself? And
Hmm.
and it's a yeah. I thought
Yeah,
Dineen
you're
did
right.
a good job mixing
Yeah,
that.
I enjoyed the story.
So
I
yeah.
thought it had a bit of O. Henry in it.
Oh, Danina love you saying that, I think, when we talk to her. I can't wait.
It did though. It had that little gift to the Magi kind of
Uh-huh.
twist in it,
Yeah, yeah. So good writing. Well, I think needless to say, we both enjoyed the story. I think for rom-coms, Dineen is an author I would read again.
Hmm.
Um, for this, and in fact she has, if you're interested in this series, this is Bloom to be Messy, which we enjoyed. The next one is Rescued to be Messy, and the main character in Rescued to be Messy is a side character in Bloom to be Messy, so you'll meet Zane in this, and he's very likable, so I am curious about his story.
He's a lifeguard.
So and comic foil for Amanda sometimes. But yes, he's a
Yeah.
lifeguard and all around handy guy for the town of Sarabella. And it is the holiday season right now, so Dineen does have a Christmas book out right now, a very messy Christmas. That's um, part of this series as well, so it would be a good time to read that. But I would highly, well, judging from the first book, I have not read Rescued, although I have it. And I have both. Just haven't had time. We're too busy here reading and getting ready for our next step. But based on these, I want to continue reading in the series. Bloomed, I
Oh, I
think,
enjoyed them. I
great.
think she did a good job of setting up all the both of those stories too. Like it made me interested enough to want to read them. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because you can kind of see where, oh wait, Zane's going to get a story. If you're a regular reader and you read series, you kind of pick out which characters,
yeah.
which characters are going to get their own story, or you can sometimes be very vocal with the author of which characters, hey, you can write a story about this person. So no, I highly recommend Bloom to be Messy by Denise Miller. And again, two others are out in this series, which is always fun. So if you get excited about the series, you don't have to wait because they are out now for your enjoyment. Any other words? I mean, again, the characters, the town.
I enjoyed it. Um I did like the part about, how they all work together and and that I thought that was very interesting and very good. There were some surprises in the story, which I liked as well, because I
Mhm.
don't like to always be able to predict everything.
Right, right.
So that was good too.
Yeah, no, there were a couple things that did take you by surprise in a good way,
Hmm.
and made you keep reading, and it wasn't the traditional, you know, uh, well, not always traditional. Little they took the circuitous route around
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
to get there. So, all right. Well, again, we liked Bloom to be Messy. We are going to be talking with the author, Dineen Miller, on December 27th. So please check back here. We'll do a little post-Christmas wrap-up with her books. But meanwhile, I think it's worth a read. Pick it up and be ready for our talk with Dineen here in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
All right. And we are also very, very excited. I see the sun is setting in your window,
Yeah,
Rebecca.
I'm
Sorry, I
getting
gotta
the
mention
the
that.
the yeah, I'm becoming kind of like ghostly. It's like almost
Ooh,
a
the ghost
fading.
of Christmas, whatever.
Yeah.
um, real quick,
Christmas story.
mm, um, real quick, I do want to talk about January because we are so excited to kick off 2024 with the one and only Colleen Coble and her book Fragile Designs. So pick that up at the beginning of January, read along with us, and we'll be doing our review and talking with Colleen at the very end of January as well. So meanwhile, we hope everyone has a great Christmas. There's lots of reading to be done. So pick up those books, support your authors, leave them reviews. You can check out our schedule at rebeccaandrebecca.com. We're on Instagram now. We have a Facebook page now. So come find us. And yeah, we're trying to be everywhere.
We're trying to make ourselves accessible and make it easier for you to find us. So
yeah, and
hopefully
to
you'll
see
enjoy
the
it.
schedule and to talk about books. We love books.
We do.
That's it. And before Rebecca fades into ghostly,
I know. I've tried to turn it to like, I don't know, healthy.
I think that's it for now. We will see you in a couple weeks when we talk to Dineen, and then we look forward to 2024 kicking it off with Colleen Coble. So we will see y'all next time. Have a wonderful Christmas. Happy New Year. Well, we'll talk to you before then.
Yeah,
but
we'll be there before the New Year's.
well, happy Christmas, and then we'll
yes.
talk New Year's. There you go.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Oh
no. That's just happy birthday. I don't know why I said that exactly, because that's really nothing. I did have several people in my class who had happy birthdays, though, this week. So maybe that was on my mind. But how about this? Feliz Navidad. We'll do that one.
There you go. All right. We will see y'all next time. This is Rebecca and Rebecca signing off.